On this episode of Remington's Inside the Industry, I want to take a look at how the COVID pandemic changed the hunting business, both at home and abroad. Restrictions to international destinations virtually shut down our ability to travel and hunt many of the world's greatest game fields. But hunters are not easy to keep away from our passion, and the hunting world adapted to hunt where and what they could, which saw some surprising and positive trends despite the COVID challenge. At the recent DSC convention, I sat down with veteran international hunting consultant Tim Herald of Worldwide Trophy Adventures, a man who stays plugged into the hunting world on just about a 24/7 basis. Tim Herald is a man that stays on top of this game and can help you stay on top of yours if you have the need. This podcast is brought to you by Remington Firearms. For more information on the new era of Remington, visit our site at remarms.com. Tim, thanks for joining me. I'm really glad you could make it. And we're here at the DSC show, so it makes it really easy for me to get people like you.
Got a lot of people in the same room at the same time, for sure.
Yeah, actually. And as I said, for me, it makes life really easy to get. And not just, look, it's fun to go to the show, but also it's great to be able to get all the people here that I would like to talk to. And one of the things that, somebody like you as a booking agent, and I have to tell you, I'm not very familiar, so I'm going to ask a lot of questions.
Sure.
What exactly does a booking agent do? How do they do it? Why do they do it, et cetera? Like, why does somebody use you? So on and so forth. But maybe you could tell me a little bit, how did you get into this in the first place?
25, 30 years ago, I started out writing magazine articles.
So when you were like 5 years old?
Well, when I was in college.
Oh, okay.
And that kind of moved a little bit into when hunting videos were still on VHS tapes and the TV thing was starting to come about. And I got in with some companies doing some of that work. And as I traveled to hunt, people were always asking me, how do I go on that hunt? How do I go on that hunt? So I started booking people on hunts. And then I was putting so much time into it and not making anything, just doing it to help a friend out here and there, that it started becoming more of a full-time job. And that's just morphed over the years, and it is a full-time job.
So actually you were booking stuff for people, just friends, no charge.
Yep.
How did these same people feel next came back to you and all of a sudden there was a fee?
Well, they had to live with it.
Yeah, because you see that all the time. Once somebody gets something for nothing, they don't really like to pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, people just had to understand this is now my living and running a company, so it has to be how it has to be.
And so how many years?
Gosh, I mean, the booking part I've been doing for at least 20 years.
Right.
So, yeah.
And are you a global agent as well?
Yeah, so we are Worldwide Trophy Adventures, which actually used to be Cabela's Outdoor Adventures. And I think it's been about 6 years that we bought that. So it's a separate company. We still have a real good relationship there.
So you acquired Cabela's Outdoor Adventure from Cabela's?
Yes. Was
Tommy Milner still the CEO at that time?
Actually, I think Tommy was. I think it was in that period when he was there when I'm not exactly sure. I know I used to be a Cabela's ambassador, and I know I was there when Tommy was there.
Yeah, Tommy's a good friend of mine. That's why I ask.
So, yeah, I mean, I knew him from the Remington days because, like, Eddie Stevenson and I are really good friends and knew all those folks. Yeah, but, yeah, we're global. I mean, everything hunting and fishing anywhere in the world and basically any species in the world.
But look, and I'm asking some stupid questions because I don't really know. And you're supposed to say there's no such thing as a stupid question.
Yeah.
But,
well, there's not. Not here anyway.
Is there any special licenses or no? I mean, knowledge is a whole different thing, but other than a business license, any special?
Business license and insurance. Insurance is a major thing.
Insurance is a major thing for everybody. Yeah. We're in the litigious United States of America.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and we're full size. I think we have 25 people that work for us at least. I mean, we're a full size company.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
To the best of my knowledge, I think I've only used an agent once. I didn't use them. my good buddy Tim Fallon did, and it was the most disastrous hunt we've ever been on in our life.
Well, it wasn't through me.
No. It wasn't through you. So I guess the question, how do you know if you're using an agent? How do you know or find out if this agent is really a reputable, good company?
Well, I mean, I guess it's a lot now like finding hunts. I mean, you need to look for references and reviews and all that sort of thing. But I mean, we book over 2,000 people a year going on trips. And if we were sending people on bad trips on any sort of regular basis, we wouldn't have a business, because our business is our reputation. I mean, we're selling someone else's product, but you're getting our expertise and our service to go with that. The client pays us nothing. If you book your African buffalo hunt with Safari Company A directly, or you book it through WTA, it's the exact same price. The outfitter just pays us to help market.
Right, I got you.
So it doesn't cost you a dime to have us, but the benefit to us is we get boots on the ground. We go try all these places out. We see them firsthand, and we know who's good and who's not, and we keep up with them. And if something sells or something changes with an outfitter and it goes downhill, we don't book for them anymore, because that is our livelihood, is our reputation, and having repeat customers and being able to produce for people.
But how do you stay on top of the outfitters like that? I mean, to know that there was a great outfitter for a certain period of time, and then how do you stay on top of when something goes south?
There's about a dozen of us that do the consulting, and we just, like me, for instance, now I'll book you on a turkey hunt or a peacock bass fishing trip, but international hunting is sort of my category that I mainly handle in our office. And it's just keeping really good relationships with those outfitters, and it's a lot of work. But, I've talked to 5 or 6 different outfitters today that are in Africa today. That they didn't make it over for the, no, they didn't make it over for the trip. But I've been either on the phone with them or WhatsApp texting them or whatever, and you just got to keep those relationships going and keep your thumb on what's happening there and making sure everything's really good. But, we've been at it so long, we've got such a good stable of people. Occasionally something changes, but for the most part, we are with people that are proven, have been doing it for years, and they're just top notch.
Yeah, I think with a lot of different things, what happens is that you get people or businesses, whatever it is, that are really great businesses or individuals, and they will generally continue that way unless they just become complacent and say,
Sure.
Hey, our business is great, we're happy with it, and then they stop taking care of things. In my opinion, if people are always behave like they're hungry,
Yeah,
they'll always do a great job.
exactly. I mean, you have to be moving forward or you're moving backwards.
Yeah. So why would I book a hunt through you versus through Mark Haldane, for instance?
Well,
directly?
we book for Mark.
No.
I know.
But
I know what you're saying.
I mean,
but
I can text Mark and say, hey,
Right.
why would I use you instead?
Right. Well, if you already knew Mark or knew that he was really good, maybe you don't need me. But the guy that has never been on a buffalo hunt or has never been on a buffalo hunt, let's just say to Zimbabwe, and he comes to me, and usually what I almost do is interview the client. I ask them a lot of questions, and then I make my recommendation on what they want and what they're looking for in a hunt. So we may have a hunt in the Save Valley, and we may have a hunt in the Zambezi Valley, and we may have a hunt in Matetse. Well, we've got 5 or 6 guys we work with in Zimbabwe, so I'm not trying to force feed you
Right.
one outfitter. I've got choices, and I look for what kind of physical hunt you want. Do you want to also kill a bunch of plains game when you're buffalo hunting? Is your wife coming? Do you want to go on an excursion afterwards to Vic Falls? And I look at all those pieces of it, and then I'll make a recommendation to the outfitter that I think best fits what you're looking for. Now, the flip side of that is we've been there, we've hunted with them, we know it firsthand. Then it comes to the financial part of it. We just make it easy. You can pay your deposit on a credit card. You just do it over the phone. You don't have to go wire money, any of that. Then when the money goes to the outfitter, we take care of that part of it. We go to the bank, we send the wire. You're not messing with, an hour at the bank doing an international wire. So we keep all that going. You get invoices from us. You get hunt packets gear lists, a lot of different information. We've got a company we work with hand in hand that will help with your travel. We try to make it sort of a one-stop shop. If you don't know a lot about importing your trophy back into the U.S., we don't do it, but we have a company we work hand in hand with that'll do that for you, and I can lead people through that whole process, top to bottom.
So, playing the devil's advocate, since your fee is paid from the outfitter,
right?
How often do you have people that go directly to the outfitter and say, I want to pay the same fee as an agent?
It happens.
And
our good outfitters won't do it.
Good for them.
Because they know that we're partners.
Yeah.
And we're going to bring them more business than making an extra few percent on this one hunt. Now, we have seen people that, the client, once they hunt with that outfitter, then they're friends with that outfitter. Mm-hmm. They may not be friends with me because they may have never seen me before. So they'll come and they want to go on the next hunt, and they'll start trying to deal directly with the outfitter. Had it happen today. Had a guy in Zambia. He wants to go back with the same outfitter and hunt in Tanzania. The outfitter sent me and him a message, said, hey, you should run this through Tim. He set you up on the first time. Let him handle it this next time. And that's having a partnership.
Yeah, no, that's good. Good to hear that. Because, look, everybody wants to save a couple of bucks.
Oh, absolutely.
If they can.
And we get people that, in our catalog or our website, it doesn't list every outfitter's name by name. But if a guy I can tell is really serious about booking a hunt and they ask me who the outfitter is, I'm transparent with them, and they can go look at that website, and quite honestly, they can go to the outfitter and go around me. But I don't think it happens that often. It does. A guy, like you said, thinks he's going to save $200. He'll do whatever. But most of the time, they're pretty good about it.
They're the same guys that won't spend $2 to learn how to shoot properly.
Exactly. They're also the guys that complain the most on the hunts.
Yeah, exactly. Funny how all that falls hand in hand,
exactly.
Isn't it? Because one of the things that I've seen for years in doing many, many different things is that I race cars. People want to buy a better, faster car instead of learning how to drive better.
Yeah.
They want to buy a better rifle, a better optic instead of learning how to shoot better. Now, all of those things, if they buy a better rifle and they buy a better optic, and they learn how to shoot better, everything's going to be much better.
That's the key combination, exactly.
And I've always wondered and thought, why the hell do you want to, why the hell do you want to spend $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 and have any chance of having a bad shot?
Yeah.
That's beyond me. I don't know why.
Yeah, exactly. It's like people buying expensive turkey shells now. That's the cheapest part.
Right.
You want that performance when it's game time, and they're complaining about buying a $5 shotgun shell, and it's like, all right, you're carrying $1,000 worth of decoys on your back and all that. There's priority there.
And you're only going to take one shot.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not going to shoot that whole box.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's bizarre. Look, there's been some real changes since COVID. I imagine this has changed. Not imagine. It's changed the hunting business substantially. Sure. How big a change has it made, first of all, internationally, and second of all, domestically?
Well, internationally it was huge just because a lot of people, at least in 2020, backed off of it, or you physically couldn't go. And there's still places like New Zealand that aren't open. They're going to miss their spring roar this year, for the second or third time in a row. But most places have started opening up. I was in Africa 3 times last year, and it was just a little bit of a pain with the flights. But, you could get in and get out, and that was no big deal. But what I've really seen, the domestic product has gone off the charts because people backed off on international travel, and they are just buying domestic hunts like wildfire. I've been in there today trying to get people hunts for 2023 fall, and, it's like, well, we got one hunt left. We've got one spot here. And people are just looking for further out in the future and planning it. And it's just the inventory, if you will, is really, you've got to look 2 or 3 years down the road right now. It's crazy.
Well, Tim, I think again, my opinion, I think domestically it's almost been a perfect storm. There has been, since COVID came, there's multiple other things, but there's also a big movement. COVID changed a lot of things, people's ability to travel and so on and so forth. but also people, because of it, saw the price of meat going up substantially,
Yep.
the availability of produce coming down, and I think that from the firearms side, I know that that's changed the number.
Sure.
There's a lot of new hunters. Look at the number of new licenses last year, turkey season,
Right.
in Georgia. They were, incredible increase.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's happened all over. I mean, like you said, people wanting to go get their own meat to offset some of the prices of the beef and pork and all that. That's gone just out of control. And I think people had, at least when it started, people had more time on their hands. They weren't supposed to be at work, or they weren't supposed to be here or there. I know a lot of the southern states, they were really worried about the turkey populations. If they had a 6 or 8 week season, they said so many guys are out there hunting every morning that they're going to kill all our turkeys because there were more people with more time on their hands. But what you said about having new license and new hunters, that's a great benefit out of it, because it seems like we'd sort of been on a downward trend a little bit, and anything to pick that up and get more people into our sport, I think is fantastic.
Yeah, no, it was interesting because, maybe you don't know, but others in the room and on this know that I'm good friends with Tim Fallon at FTW Ranch, and Tim and I talked about it almost a year ago, I think, maybe longer than that. And I told him, I said, look, I think there's an opportunity to bring new hunters into the fold. The problem is a lot of people don't know a mentor.
Yeah.
I said, Tim, why don't you start a program, a new hunters program? So he did, and they had a difficult time. And all of a sudden, what was going to turn out to be one program turned out, I think, to be 12 during the first year, which is pretty significant.
Yeah.
And these are the majority of them are brand new hunters. Some of them are, because the program goes a long ways. It's not just how to shoot, but it's skinning, processing, stocking, on and on and on. And there's a lot of people, not a lot, I think there's some that were not new hunters. They were people that have hunted their entire life, been to Africa many times. Never once have they processed their own meat.
Yeah.
Exactly. So and they haven't even skinned their own animal before.
Yeah, and that trend definitely is picking up with people doing the whole field to table kind of lifestyle thing, which is great.
I think so too. And you see a lot more restaurants with it as well. So that's, COVID obviously has had a big thing, and for multiple things. And I think one of the biggest is to your point, you can't book a hunt for next year. It's very difficult.
Yeah. I've never
I'm
seen
kind
it
of screwed,
like
I guess.
If you don't have much lined up, you are.
I don't have anything lined up, just one hunt.
Yeah, it's tough. You do. I've talked to as many people today about 2024 as I have anything else, just having to look out there in the future.
I'm not even sure that I'll really be alive in 2024. But I'm kind of fortunate in some ways in that I'm from Canada. I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm from Canada, so all my relatives still live there. So I can go back to Canada, and one of my relatives can be a hunter host,
Yeah.
And so I don't have to really worry about
the guided
hunts and so on and so forth. So I'm fortunate about that, and I guess being in the industry,
You might have a few contacts.
I might have a few contacts as well, and I've got a new one now too. Thanks.
There you go.
What about insurance with hunting and traveling?
Well, I think it's more important than ever right now. Yeah, just because we don't know what's going to happen to our airline ticket in 6 months, or are we going to be able to go on that hunt? Or, there's just so many unknowns, and we have always really recommended when somebody buys a hunt from us to look at trip insurance. And now, just seeing nobody's lost any money with us on COVID trips that were, I don't want to say canceled, but need to be rescheduled, but they had to be flexible enough to go later, sort of thing. But, some people were just adamant, I'm not going. And my first question is, did you buy the trip insurance we ask about? And, a lot of people do and a lot of people don't. We work with the guys at Red Point and Ripcord, and they just do a phenomenal job for our clients. I mean, I've seen it for years before we ever knew the word COVID. You know, a guy would not have his gun show up till halfway through the hunt, and they'd pay him back for part of the hunt, you know, because he'd bought the right insurance. But now I just think it's imperative that you have that, because we are in an age that we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, they can shut down 3 countries tomorrow and open up 4 the next day. So I think everybody needs to look into that when they have a hunt booked. It's not that much money, and it sure is a nice safety net.
And is it, you know, I've done a number of different things, you know, Global Rescue, Ripcord. Are most of these just specific insurance for that period of time, or
you can, like I have Ripcord, I just buy yearly, you know, policy, but that is for the health, or, you know, extracting you if you break an ankle up on a mountain or whatever. But a lot of people don't know they also do traditional trip insurance.
Oh, okay. I
So
didn't know.
I buy that medical insurance for myself every year, just for the year, because I'm going to be on a few hunts, and, you know, but you can buy the trip. The trip insurance obviously is for each individual trip, and the sooner you
Sounds
book
like
it,
you're a guy from Ripcord now.
well, they've just done
No, I
really, they've
understand.
done really well for us over the years, and I've seen them take care of some of my clients, and I appreciate what they've done. But, you know, they do more than that. Everybody knows they'll come and extract you if you need it
Yeah.
or whatever, but they do a great job with just regular trip insurance as well. And I mean, when if you booked a hunt with me and I send you out my hunt packet, it's going to have some brochures in there from them. So, you know, we don't sell it, we don't do the paperwork, but we're going to put it in front of you and recommend it to you.
How many trips did you say you do?
I mean,
annually, you said?
I hate to say an exact number, but I
But-
think at least a year or two ago, we did over 2,000 people. I mean, going on various trips.
Are
I mean,
people more apt to go through you for international or domestic, or both?
both. I mean, our domestic is just off the charts, and I'm throwing out numbers that I don't know that are exactly right, but we probably sell over 400 elk hunts a year.
Really?
I mean, yeah. So I mean, our domestic is really strong, and we do stuff on, you know, every continent except Antarctica as far as the international goes. So we're covering it all, and
I
we've
don't think
got
you
good
can shoot
clients.
penguins in
Yeah,
Antarctica.
not legally anyway.
Yeah, not legally. Yeah. There's probably some people that have had
Yeah.
a penguin dish there.
Exactly.
That's a pretty big number. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot of, but we've got a great staff. You know, we've got the group of consultants, and everybody sort of has their specialties, but knows a little bit about everything. And we've got great admin people. We've got a whole accounting department. We've got marketing folks. I mean, we've got a lot of knowledgeable people in the office.
I was just distracted by my friend's phone, but specifically after he said, "Make sure that you turn your phones off." You know, being a Canadian, I'm always interested. How much business you do in Canada?
lot.
You do a lot of
A
business
lot.
there.
Yeah. We actually own some businesses in Canada. We've got Saskatchewan, waterfowl, whitetail, bear. We've got a concession in the Yukon for moose, grizzly, Dall sheep. So yeah, we do a lot of, and not just ours. I mean, obviously we've
So
got a lot
your
of
own
partners.
concession?
Yeah,
Or
the
okay.
WTA has them in our envelope. Oh, we also do own a few outfitter businesses that are under our umbrella that we own outright, but we definitely do that in Canada. But lots of stuff in BC and
We're
Northwest
just a bloody
Territories.
good group of people, you know.
Yeah, I love
Canadians.
going up there. As long as it's the west side.
There is nothing there. There's nothing east of Saskatchewan, maybe into Manitoba a little bit.
I'll agree with you on
Yeah.
that.
Although I have been hunting up in northern Quebec, and we had a great time.
Yeah, me too.
Caribou.
I
That was-
did that.
but then they shut down Leaf River, which
Yeah.
was just really a shame
Yeah.
because these outfitters had spent so much money building these great
the
camps and
the infrastructure was
Right.
really good.
And I don't even know exactly what it was. I think they maybe got in a pissing contest with the indigenous nation around Hudson Bay. I think is really what happened. But I don't know. The Canadian government, though, they're about as woke as you can possibly get. So who knows what's happened now. So, in Saskatchewan, great duck hunting there.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's probably one of the real true capitals of waterfowl, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, gosh, our guys, I mean, it's almost unheard of for them to take a group of people out and not kill their limit.
Right.
You know, and whether they're doing geese in the morning and ducks in the afternoon or switched or what, it is just unbelievable to me. I mean, being somebody from Kentucky and seeing some ducks and geese, but not a whole lot, and then to go up there and see that is like off the charts.
Yeah. I haven't been to Saskatchewan for years, but and I've never actually been waterfowl hunting there. But a nephew of mine flies up every year, and again he takes the private charter, and they take, I don't know, 5 or 6 guys, and they get their limit.
Yeah,
every day.
It's just unreal how
Yeah.
they can just over and over and over and over. Lots of ground and lots of scouting.
Yeah, but look, if we look back in talking about conservation, we weren't talking about conservation, but we're at the Dallas Safari Club now, and one of the big things with the DSC is conservation.
Sure.
And people seem to not, hunters do, but most people have kind of forgotten that the waterfowl, it was really Ducks Unlimited that saved, to a large degree, the waterfowl, and really it started in Canada because they were losing their habitat.
All that breeding habitat.
Exactly,
yeah.
all the breeding habitat, and really it was the hunters and Ducks Unlimited that really saved
Sure.
that.
Well, and I mean, you look at any place around the world, if the wildlife's thriving, it has something to do with hunting. I mean, I don't care where you are.
Yeah, you'll be hard pressed convincing somebody that dislikes hunters that.
Yeah, right.
Although if people will listen with an open mind, most people will come away and say, "Boy, I had no idea."
Exactly. Yeah, because it all makes sense.
It all makes
You just have to
sense.
explain it to them.
Exactly, that's true. So we're at DSC, and it's really, I've been coming here for a number of years, as you have as well. It's just a great place. It's a great place to meet people like you and others. Where do you rate the DSC show in your adventures and the
I've
things
always
you do?
told everybody it's absolutely my favorite. I would come here if it didn't have anything to do with I'm a life member on my own. I would come here as a quote unquote tourist if I didn't work in it. I love the show. There's a group of us, me being from Kentucky, but most of them are from Texas, from South Texas, and we all meet and hang out, and it's as much about seeing good friends and then meeting new people and different outfitters, but I absolutely look forward to this. When we didn't have it last year, it just killed me.
It's a great show. I mean, I've been coming to it for a while. I've only lived in Texas for 3 years, I guess, but I've been coming to it, and it's a fantastic show. And DSC is an organization that is second to none, I think.
I agree.
Especially from the conservation.
Yeah.
Because any serious hunter, again, in my opinion, any serious hunter has to be passionate about conservation.
Sure.
And if you're passionate about conservation, you're passionate about the DSC.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, they're one and the same to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've really taken over, I think, that, from the show standpoint.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, we told people, 2 or 3 years ago, they'd talk about all the different shows in the country. And I mean, I'm not knocking any of them, but it's like this thing is gaining momentum like a snowball coming down a hill, and you better start going to this one or you're missing out.
Yeah, I agree. Look, I think it's a great place to go. You get to see all the guns, get to talk to people. For me, I think it's fantastic to go and talk to the various outfitters, people that you never get a chance to talk to from Africa. And I know a number of them that are there, and it's just fun to talk to them. I really appreciate the time that you've spent today. Always good to catch up with you.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.